Under Julius's leadership, we have committed to bold new strategies for getting high-speed and high-value broadband out to all our citizens. We are bringing new openness and transparency, not just to the substance of what we do, but to the process of how we do it. And central to that open and transparent process is making sure that all of our citizens, not just a privileged few, but all of our citizens have access to the deliberations of the Commission and a voice in them. So I believe this FCC is poised to do historic things. And when we are fortunate enough to be in a period that is at long last hospitable to change and hospitable to reform, we have the most solemn obligation to respond to the call of the trumpet, to answer the summons of history, and to get the job done the way it should be done. I am pleased to be here with you this afternoon on this wonderful new addition to our nation's capital. I want to first extend my appreciation to my friend of more than 30 years now, Ralph Everett, President and CEO of the Joint Center. I thank him for inviting me to be here. I thank him for the visionary yet very practical leadership that he has brought to the Joint Center. And I'm so happy that under his guidance, the Joint Center has given such high priority to the challenges of media and technology and broadband. The unveiling last November of the Center's Media and Technology Institute was music to my ears. And having Ralph and the Joint Center involved in these issues is tremendously helpful, not just because, not just in the world of ideas, but also in the real world of policymaking here on Capitol Hill, all through this town and all around the country. The Joint Center is making a difference and is making a good difference. And I also want to congratulate the Center on the release today of its new Broadband Imperatives Report. As Chairman Janikowski has stated, it's vitally important that we have good data, that good data drive the process of developing a national broadband plan. So we welcome this expert report from the Joint Center. It's an important addition to the dialogue we are fostering at the Commission, and I want to thank Ralph and others from his team for participating in the broadband workshops the Commission has been holding over the past 6 weeks. I, of course, welcome the participation of all the other organizations and leaders represented here today. This is a distinguished and a powerful assemblage, and your help is needed, from the grassroots that you organize right on to the top of the hill where we gather today. All the good things Chairman Janikowski is talking about, all the needs that have gone unmet for so many years, all the new policy breakthroughs that we are finally beginning to see, all of these things depend upon each and every one of us working together like never before, to take advantage of this opportunity we now have to make a difference. Finally, a special thanks to the FCC's Diversity Committee, many of whose members are here, including its chairman and my good friend, Henry Rivera. The committee and its membership list is really impressive. Met this morning over at the Commission. I'm happy to say that they are responding wonderfully well to the call for action that I gave them right after I became acting chairman of the Commission earlier this year. As soon as we got the committee reconstituted, I charged it to give the Commission recommendations on such initiatives as full file review, which is an interim method that could enable the Commission to develop more targeted ownership policies. And this morning, the committee not only developed but voted to recommend this approach to the full Commission. I also had asked the committee to evaluate our past efforts at developing Adirondack studies, a further step needed before we can use more race-conscious policies to address the current disparities in broadcast ownership. Those studies are needed, as most of you know, to satisfy the courts that we have the data to back up our rules. And here, too, the committee acted this morning. So you can see why I'm excited about it, and I wholeheartedly welcome these recommendations, and I will be working for their prompt consideration by the full Commission. Minorities and women have been left on the wrong side of the gate in communications, as in so many other areas, and in some ways have been even less well served by communications than by other sectors in our economy. We've got a long journey ahead of us, but I do believe we're going to be able to begin turning things around in the months just ahead. I also want to acknowledge this morning's announcement on the formation of the Broadband Opportunity Coalition, a consortium of civil rights groups committed to doing important work on broadband adoption in underserved communities. So you can see why I'm enthused about what the committee and what happened this morning. And everybody seemed to be of one accord. You know, the time is here, the time is now. Let's get it done. I take special pride in our recent initiative to reform the way we gather comprehensive information on the ownership of radio and television broadcast stations. We've needed better data for quite a long time now. The courts have told us that, and I'm encouraged that our new Form 323 and the new entities that we are requiring to file this data will show us what the exact levels of ownership are and help us to better pinpoint the problem areas. But even the statistics available to us now tell a woeful tale of missed opportunity and neglect. In a country that is more than one-third minority, people of color own just over 3% of full-power commercial television stations. Is it any wonder that minorities are so often stereotyped and caricatured on the programs we see and hear, and that the positive contributions that minority communities around the country are making are so often completely overlooked? The state of female ownership is likewise dismal. Women are 51% of our population, yet they own 5.8% of those TV stations. And they, too, are deserving of much more accurate and less stereotyped characterization and depictions. So I'm pleased that we have new recommendations from the Diversity Committee, and you can count on me to put my shoulder to the wheel alongside the chairman to begin turning things around. Speaking of creating opportunity, Congress is charged to the FCC to develop a national broadband plan. I think is something that we will look back on years from now and realize what a truly once-in-a-lifetime opportunity it was.